Hello guys and welcome to our new video, which is actually part 3 of our video series of making a social media application using Next.js. And now in this part, we are going to work on a post creation by a user. Now I have decided to add 3 kind of post in our application. Now first kind of post will be a simple image post where the user will upload a image along with its description and tags. Similarly, we are going to have a video post where the user will upload a video along with its description and tags. Lastly, we are going to have this kind of post. Now only in this post we are providing our text editor so that the user will be able to edit their text whatever they are writing in the content, and also they will be able to upload images as well as videos in this post. So you can consider this post as a main post where the user will be able to write a proper content using our text editors, as well as they will be able to upload images and videos in this post. So now let's start, and we are going to work on the third kind of post where we are going to have our text editor and also a file uploader which allows both images and videos in our post. So first we are going to make this post, since this post is the most complex out of all three. So we are going to start with this, and later we are going to work on the other two posts. So now let's start by creating our schema first. So we are going to create our post model, and first we are going to have our ID, and this will be a type of string, not a integer. Now this will be our primary key, and now we are going to auto generate our ID, not using the Prisma but using our database, because we want to have a prefix before our ID. Let me show you. So let me show you what I'm saying, that before each ID we are going to have a post underscore and then rest. So to make this happen, we are going to add default and then db generated. Inside that we are going to have concat, and then inside the inverted commas we are going to write our prefix. Now outside this inverted comma, write replace and then cast, and then we are going to generate our random id, random uuid, and this will be a type of text. Now outside this blue braces we are going to have inverted comma. Inside that we are going to have dash, then empty inverted commas, and lastly outside all these we are going to have db.text. So this way we will be able to generate our unique id which will have post as a prefix. And one more thing, that this way of generating our id is only going to work in our Postgres database. And after that we are going to have content in our post, and this will be a type of string, and this will be optional because in some cases we are not going to have our content. That's why I'm making this optional. And then we are going to have type. So which type of post we are going to use? As you know, we are going to have 3 kinds of post, so we have to choose it here, and I'm going to use enum here to define our types. Type post, and let's define our enum here. Enum, let's just copy this, and first will be image, then video, and then simple post. After this we are going to have our tags, and its type will be array of string, and after that we are going to have our author id, so it will be a type of string, and then we are going to define our relationship of author to the user. So author user, then relation, fields will be author id, and the reference will be id, and on delete we are going to cascade. Now let's add our post in our user. So post, and it will be as of post. And after that we are going to add two more fields here, which will be created at, type will be date time, and default value will be now. And then we are going to have our updated at, and this will have same type, which will be date time, and then the default value will be updated at. And after that we are going to have two more fields here, which will be images and videos, but we are going to first define their models here. So image, and this will have same kind of IDs, so copy and paste here, and let's change our post to image. Then after that we are going to have our URL type of string, and then description, and this will be type of string but optional. And then we are going to have our post ID, this will be a type of string, and then we are going to define our relationship, so post, and this will be post. And then we are going to have our relation here, so fields will be our post ID, and then reference will be our ID, and on delete we are going to cascade. Similarly, let's make our video model, so model video, and this will have same kind of fields, so let's just copy and paste it here. The only thing that we are going to change is video. Now let's add these two in our post, so image array, then video array. And with that we have completed our schema. Now let's push this table to our database. For that, write npx prisma migrate dev. Now let's give this a name, so name will be created post video image tables, and then enter. So we have created our tables, and also the Prisma client is generated. Now we are going to make our UI. Now inside our components we are going to make three more folders here, which will be left side, then we are going to have middle, lastly we are going to have right side. And right now we are going to work in the middle. Now inside middle we are going to make our middle component, so write middle component .tsx, then tsrfc, and this will have many components. So let's add one more, either new post.tsx. Now let's add it here, new post. So right now we have our new post component here. Now let's go to our page.tsx, and we can add our middle component here, middle component here. And if I save, and let's start our server, npm run dev, and let's refresh it. So we have our new post here. Let's make this light. So we have our new post here. Now let's go back to our new post component, and now here we are going to use some components from Station. So let's go to their website, and then components, and first thing we are going to have is card. So let's add it in our project. Let's make one more terminal here, and then second will be our carousel. Then we are going to have our dialog, so we will add this as well. Now let's import them here, and let's make our font size bigger, and also let's import our card from UI card. Let's give this a class name, w2/4 and py5 rounded md and mx4 px4. Inside that we are going to have our card, and it will have a class name, and the padding will be 4. Inside this, make one more div. This will have a class name of flex item center space x5. Inside this div we are going to have our image from next image. Now it will have src, which will be image4.jpg for right now. Width will be 40 and height will be 40. Alt will be image. Then we are going to give some classes here, rounded full to make it circle. Then height will be of 40 pixels, and object cover and object top. Now let's import our use session here. Import use session from next.react, and we are going to get our data from that session from use session, and inside here we are going to have our session. So if we have session, then session dot user dot image, otherwise we are going with the image4.jpg. So we can write it as user dot image. So if we have image in our session, then we are going to sort that image, otherwise we are going with the image4 in our local directory. And now below this image we are going to have our dialog. So let's have our dialog, and we are going to have our dialog trigger. First let's give this a class name of wfull, and inside our dialog trigger we are going to have our input, and this will have a class name of wfull. Type will be text, and placeholder will be write a post, and then close this. And after that we are going to have our dialog content. Now first let's give this a class name. So dialog content will have maximum width of 800 pixels and maximum height of 600 pixels. Then minimum height will be of 200 pixels, and overflow will be auto. Inside our content we are going to have a header, so we can have a dialog header, and inside our header we are going to have a dialog title here, and give this a class name of my2 text excel, and then write make your post. Now let's save and go back to our browser and use session react context. So we are getting this error because we have to make this a client component. So write use client, then let's save. So now we are getting one more error here, and to solve this we have to update our next config. So go to your next config file, and inside that we are going to have images and then domain, and here we are going to have a array. Inside that we are going to pass this. Now let's save, refresh the page, and then you can see that our error is not here anymore. And as you can see, we are also getting our icon, which is from the Google. Now if I click on this, you can see as I'm clicking on this, I'm getting a dialog here, and in this dialog we are going to make our upload component. So whenever someone click on this post, our dialog will appear and they will be able to make their post here. So let's continue adding some more components here. Now below the title we are going to have our dialog description, and inside that we are going to have a text editor. So for our text editor I'm going to use TipTap, so you can go and install it. So for that we have to just copy this and let's paste it in our terminal. And now inside a component, make one more folder named editor, and first we are going to make a file here named our edit tools.tsx, and then one more file here named content area.tsx. And this component we are going to define our all tools that we are going to edit our content. So let's first import our editor from TipTap React, and then import button from our UI button, and after that import link as icons link and list from Lucid React. Okay, now let's go to this website, and here we are going to add our all editor tools. So first tool will be our bold. So here go to the marks, and then inside that go to bold, and you can read it about here all the configurations. So we just need to go to this part, and we have to go below this and copy this. Now paste it here and give this a class name of flex item center and space x2. So now this is giving an error, so we need to define our editor here, which we are going to pass in this component. So we are going to pass our editor, and let's define its type. So editor, which will be a type of editor, and this will come from TipTap React. And let's also change this button to our UI button, and we are going to give this size, and size will be our icon. Now this function is giving us an error, so let's go here and add the extension bold in our project. So install this and remove this, and then write capital B. And now let's save and go to the content area, and inside that first we are going to import our use editor from TipTap React, and then editor content. And now let's define our editor here. So write const editor is equals to use editor, and this will be and inside that we are going to pass an object, so it will have extensions which will be an array. So we are going to have our starter kit. So let's import this, import starter kit from tip tap starter kit. Okay, and next we are going to have our document paragraph text and bold. So we can copy all these, and then we can also import it in our component. So now let's save and let's call our edit tool, and inside that we are going to pass our editor, which will be editor. And close this, and then we are going to have our editor content, and inside that we are going to pass our editor. Okay, now this is giving an error because the editor can be null, so we can check it here. If our editor is null, then we can return null. Okay, now let's save it here, and let's add our content area here. Now let's save. Now if I go to our browser, refresh the page, and now as you can see we have our bold button here, and we should also have our content area, which is editor content. And let's select some text and click on the button, and as you can see this is this text got bold. So this means that this is working. Now let's go back to our edit tool, and we have to first add all the tools, and then we can work on our content area. So now let's go to our content area, and let's configure our editor content here, because right now it is not visible. So we are going to define some CSS here, and for our editor CSS we are going to use a particular class from our Tailwind CSS. So we are going to have the pros classes in our CSS. So this is Tailwind CSS / typography. So in order to use our editor more, in order to use our editor, we have to install this CSS in our Tailwind. So copy this and then paste it here, and we have to go to the tailwind.config.js, and we have to place it there, and then we have to add this line to our file. So tailwind config.ts, and this will be an array. So second will be required Tailwind CSS / typography. Now let's go here, save, and in the content area, and now inside our editor we are going to define one more field, that is content. So this is default text that will be shown in our content. So let's have our p tag, and inside that we can write your post. Okay, then we are going to have autofocus true, and now inside our editor content let's define some class names here. So class name, so first we are going to give this a padding of 4, border of red 400, and border width will be 1 pixel, rounded MD, and border will be dotted. Okay, now we are going to wrap our editor content inside a div and give this a class name of py4. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and as you can see we have some CSS in our editor content, but as you can see the writing support is not good. So we can define some classes here. So this will be inside our editor props, attributes, and then class. So these classes will be our typography classes. And inside our classes, first we are going to add prose sm and sm prose. Okay, then we are going to have our focus outline none. And now let's save and go back here. And now if I click on this, as you can see, as soon as I added these classes, our content area got better, and as you can see, our font size also got increased, and there is no outline here. Now I'm going to add some more classes here, but before that, let's go to our edit tools and finish adding all the tools here. So after bold, we are going to add italic. So we can just go to our tip tab and inside the marks, and then go to italic. So now go at the end and let's add our italic, and let's add our button from here. Copy this and paste it here, and then write I. And let's also add some classes here that I want to make this and let's also add class here, italic, and here as well. Now we are going to add underline. So copy this, install, and then go below, and we can just copy this button and paste it here, and also here, and write you. And now let's add our headings here. So we can search headings, and let's copy and install this. And now let's go below, and we are going to add two types of headings first. So copy and paste here, and now let's make this search button and this as well. And after that, we are going to add paragraph, add this here and below. And after adding paragraph, you can see that we don't have any kind of P button here, but the level 3 will act as a paragraph, so we'll make this a level 3. So this will be a paragraph, and after our paragraph, we are going to add our code section. So we can go here. Actually, let's search code, install this, and then below here we are going to add this button, make this a section button, and after that write. The next two buttons that we are going to add is our highlight and then list. So let's search our highlight, install this. Let's go at the bottom, and we can add this button right now. Let's make this a sightseeing button, and we can write this as H, and I'm going to make this a variant of outline. And lastly, we are going to add a tool to add bullet points in our editor. So add bullet list, and We are going to install all this. Then at the bottom we are going to copy the code, this particular button, and let's make this a section button. And then here we are going to add our list from Lucid React. And lastly, one more tool that we are going to add here is our set link. So we can go here and search link, install, then go at the bottom and copy all this, and paste it here. Then copy this and paste below our hashtag, and then make this a section button. And here we are going to use our link icon. Now above we are getting some kind of errors, so first let's import our use callback. And right now you are seeing some errors here, like properties unset link is not defined, and this is because we have to add that property in our editor. So after the bold, so before adding in our extensions, let's go above and import some more tools here. So import first, so import italic, then import link from tip tap link, then we are going to import code from tip tap code, then import highlight from tip tap highlight, then import bullet list, and then import our list item, and we are going to import underline from tip tap react, underline from tip tap underline. And now let's add these to our editor. So after bold, let's add heading, and we are going to configure it so that heading dot configure, and inside that we are going to pass levels. So levels will be 1, 2, 3. So we are going to have 3 kinds of level. So let's import this as well, since I forgot to import it. So import heading from tip tap extension heading, and now after heading we are going to have our underline, then code, then italic, then highlight. So we are going to configure this as well, and then pass an object, and multicolor will be false, since we are going to use only one kind of color. And then we are going to add our link, configure this, pass an object, on open click it will be true, so on clicking it will open. And then we are going to add our bullet list and list item. And with that we have completed our editor. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and let's see if they are working or not. So we have our all tools here. First let's check our bold. So this is working. Italic, yes. Underline, we are getting some kind of error. So what we can do here. So to solve the problem, just close your server and restart it again. Now let's check it again. So as you can see, we are getting our underline below our text. Now let's make this h1 tag h2, and now let's make this a paragraph. And I think we made some mistake here. So for paragraph, the level should be 4, I think. Let's go in our content area and add level 4. Let's make this h2 tag. Now let's close this, refresh, open it again, h2 tag, then paragraph tag. And I think this is still a heading. So what we can do here, let's go here and remove our level 4, and then in our edit tool, let's make this a level 3, and then write this as h3. Now let's save, and we are now treating this as a h3 tag. So h2, h1, h3, and to make this simple, we will just click on it once more time. So we will get a simple paragraph tag. One more time, h1, h2, h3, and on clicking on this again, we are going to get a paragraph tag. Now let's check our code tag, and as you can see, this is converted to our code. And now let's check our highlight tool. So let's make this a simple tag and then highlight, and as you can see, we are getting our highlight color here. Now let's check our bullet points, and so we are getting our bullet points here. Now let's check our link. So first we have to select the text and then click on link and add that link. So if I want to go to our sign-in page, we can add it here, and if I click on this, I'll be directed to the sign-in page. Now I want to change this color, so let's go in our content area, and here we are going to add some more CSS here. So let's start with prose p leading 0, then we are going to have prose a text red 400, and then Excel prose base, and now let's save and go back here. Let's close this, and now let's check our link. So link will be sign in, and as you can see, now we have our color here, which is red 400. Okay, now if I go to the dark mode and if I click on this, as you can see, our text is black, so we have to change this as well. So if I write something, it is still black, italic, underline, so we have to change all this. For that, go back to our content area and write some more CSS here. So if we have a dark mode, then the prose code will be text white. Then we can copy this and paste it here, and if it is dark mode, then we are going to have prose p will be text white. Then if it's a dark, then paste it one more time and change this for h1, h2, and h3 tag. And for also strong, since we are using bold here, so for strong the text will be white, as well as for italic then that's it. Let's save and go back here. If I write something, let's close this, refresh it, and as you can see now our text is white. Now let's make it bold, italic, underline, h1, h2, h3, code, highlight. So we cannot highlight our code, but we can highlight this. So this is black. I have intentionally left it black because in yellow you will not be able to see the white color. Now as for our link, this will be same as red as before. So now with that we have added our all editor tools here, and now we are going to get the content from here and then store in it a state inside a new post component. And now let's define our content state here. So that content set content is equals to use state type of string, and the initial value will be an empty string. Now let's pass that here. So string, so content is equals to content, then set content is equals to set content. Now let's go to our content area, and here we are going to pass, and inside the props let's define our content, which will be a type of string, and the set content, and this will be a void function, but inside that we are going to have a new content, and the type will be string, and this will be void. Now let's destructure them here. So content and set content. If we go to the TipTap website and search for output, they provide three kinds of output: JSON, HTML, and y.js. And in our case, we are going to use the HTML format. So for that, let's go below and copy this, and just below our if condition we are going to get our HTML, and now we are going to set content HTML. So we are passing our HTML to our content, and then we are going to get our content from content area, and let's console this here to see if it is working or not. Now save and go back to our browser, inspect console, and now let's write hello world, and let's subscribe to channel. As you can see, it is strong, italic, underline. So this is working. And one more thing, that in our post we also have tag field. So if a user want to add a tag, he will just have to write hashtag and then tag name, and then we are going to use regex to extract this name. So with that, we have completed our editor part in our post, and now we are going to work on our file upload. So now let's define two more states here. So first will be files, and then set files. We are using files because we are going to upload multiple images or videos. To state, and the type will be file, and array, and the initial value will be empty array. Then we are going to have one more state, name file urls, set file urls, use state, and the type will be array of string, and the initial value will be empty array. Now below the content area, we are going to have a card, and this card will have some classes. So first class will be w full, and minimum height will be of 300 pixels. Then if the device size is below MD, then we are going to have max edge of 300 pixels. Otherwise the height will be of 600 pixels max. So max height will be of 300 pixels, 600 pixels. Now on hover, the border will be red 500, and then we are going to add our border, and border will be type of dash. Now we are going to make our card rounded MD, and let's give this a border color of gray 700, and then the card position will be relative and overflow auto. Now inside the card, if the file URLs dot length is greater than 0, then we are going to have our carousel here. So carousel, and now inside the carousel, let's first give this a class name w full and h full. Now inside the carousel, we are going to map over the file URLs. So file URLs dot map URL comma index, and inside that we are going to have our carousel item. Key will be index, and let's close this. And one more thing, that after carousel we are going to have our carousel content, and we are going to wrap this whole. And now let's give our carousel item a class name, and the position will be relative. Now inside our carousel item, inside the carousel item we are going to check our files. So if files index dot type is start with image slash, so if the file type start with image, then we are going to render image. src will be our URL, and the alt will be files index dot name, and otherwise we are going to render a video. So video tag, and src will be URL, and this should be self-closing tag. And one more thing that we have to do is autoplay loop and muted. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and I think nothing will change right now, but we will have a file upload area here. Now instead of using the double AND, we are going to use the ternary operator here, and if the file length is not greater than 0, then we are going to show a label, and the HTML4 will be image, and along with this we are also going to define some classes. So the position will be absolute, top 0, left 0, and bottom 0, and right 0. Then the z index will be 10, w will be 10, and h will be 10, and the rounded will be full. And to make this a circle, we are going to use rounded full. Now we are also going to add some borders. So border will be type of dotted, and border will be black, and then add border. Background will be bg gray 100, cursor pointer, flex item center, and justify center. Now inside our label we are going to have an icon, upload cloud icon from Lucid React, and then class name of text 3xl, opacity will be 70, and then close this. Now below that we are going to have a span with a class name of block, and inside the span we are going to write click, or and below that we are going to have one more span with a class name of block, and inside the span we are going to write max size is 4 MB. Now we are going to have an input here, type will be file, the name will be file, and change this as well since we are using video as well here. ID will be file, and then add a class name here which is hidden. So now let's save and go back here, and I think there is a problem, so let's review our CSS. So absolute top 0, left 0, bottom 0, right 0, and and there should not be a Z index, not this, and not this as well, so this is not going to be here. And as you can see, now we have a proper UI here for our file upload. Now we are going to write some more in our UI. So after the carousel content we are going to have label. So basically we are going to have this as a whole, and we are not going to have a span here. This will be plus from Lucid React, and the size will be W6 and H6, and then inside our label we are going to have style, and Z index will be 1000. Now inside our classes we are not going to have top and left, instead we are going to have bottom 1 and right 1, and the cursor, the pointer, and everything will be same. Along with that we are also going to have W10, H10, rounded full, and then border dotted, border of 1 pixel, then border black, then BG gray of 100, BG gray of 100, and cursor pointer flex item center, justify center. So we are not going to have flex call. Now let's save. So you will not see right now here, but when we upload a file here you will see a plus sign over here which will enable us to upload some more files here. And lastly, below this we are going to have a button which will enable us to delete a file. So we are going to have a button here. Now inside a button we are going to have class name absolute top 1, right 1, W6, H6, rounded full, and BG red 500, and cursor pointer flex item center, justify center, and then inside our button we are going to have a X. So this button will be for deleting our files. So now we have completed our UI. Let's work on our handle file change. So we will work on the upload. So when we click on this, the user will be able to upload a file, and also from the drag and drop. And now let's start writing some functions so that we can upload our file using input. So below this state, we are going to define our handle file change function, and this function will take event, and the type of event will be react dot change event, and this will be HTML input. Inside the function, first we are going to get our files. So that selected files is equals to event dot target dot files, and then if selected files is available, then we are going to define a new variable named new file, and the type will be array of file, and this will be equals to array dot from selected files. Now we are going to loop over the new files to check the size of the file, and if the size of the file is above 4 MB, then we are not going to allow that particular file. So for loop, index will be I, and this will be new files dot length, and remove this. Inside that, define one more variable named file is equals to new files, and then that index, then we are going to define our max size in byte is equals to 4 multiply 1024 multiply 1024. So this is 4 MB. Now if the file dot size is greater than max size in byte, then we are going to alert the user that the file is above 4 MB, and also give a message this that file size exceeds the limit, and please choose a smaller file. And after that, most important thing is to return this so that the function terminate here. Now after we check the file sizes, we are going to set our files. Inside that, we are going to call a function, and inside that we are going to pass our previous files, and this function will return an array, and this array will contain new files and the previous files, and spread this as well. And similarly, we are going to get our URLs. So const new URLs, and this will be type of array of string, and this will be equals to new files dot map and URL dot create object URL, and pass the file. Now we are going to set this URL in our file URL state. So set file URLs, and inside that we are going to call a function. Inside that we are going to pass previous file URLs, and this will return an array. So the array will contain new URLs, and then previous file URL. Now let's add our function here. So on change handle file change. So this should be handle file change. Copy this and paste it here, and also make the input to be multiple. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh the page. Now if I click on this, you can select files here. And one more thing that I forgot to add is these buttons. So you have to add these buttons here: carousel previous and carousel next, left, and don't forget to add the classes here: left 0 and right 0. So we will have this carousel here. And if I click on this, you can select some more files here. Let's add a video here like this, and as you can see we have our video here. And now you can add some more CSS to fit this screen. And now let's work on our drag and drop functionality so that we can also drag and so that we can also add files by dragging it here. Right now it is not able to do that. So let's go and add our drag and drop functionality here. So after this function, we are going to define one more function. So now let's define our handle drop function. So that const handle drop function. So and this will have an event, and this time the type will be react dot drag event. Inside the function, first that event dot prevent default, and then we are going to get our files from dropped files. Dropped files is equals to event dot data transfer dot files, and then we are going to do the same that we have done here. So let's copy this, paste here, and this should be dropped files, and this as well. So yeah, the function will be almost like this function, but here we are using the drag event. Now below this we are going to define one more function, handle drag over, and this function will have an event of type react dot drag event, and here we are just going to do event dot prevent default. So now let's add these two functions in our card. So in this card we are going to add on drag and then pass our handle drop function, and also one more function which is on drag over, and here we are going to pass our handle drag over. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh the page, and let's open our card. Now let's drag and drop our images here. So it is not working. Let's go and check why it is not working. Oh, one thing that we did wrong here, that drop file dot length, if this is greater than 0, then we are going to do this. And one more mistake that we did here, that this should be on drop. So this should be on drop, not on drag. Now if I save and go back to our browser, refresh the page, open our card, and let's try to drag this image here. As you can see, it is working. Let's drag one more, and as you can see, this is working as well. Now let's create one more function to delete our files. Delete files, function we are going to pass index as a. Now first we are going to get our all files and store in a variable name update files is equals to here and spread our files here. Now we are going to splice the updated files, splice using our index. Similarly we are going to do the same with our updated URLs. So const update URLs is equals to file URLs dot splice index comma 1, and then we are going to set new update files to our files. So set files update files, and then set file URLs update URLs. And now let's add this function to our button. So here we're going to have on click event, and this will trigger our delete file function. Inside that we are going to pass index. Now let's save and go back to our browser, and if I click on this, as you can see our images got deleted one more time and they are all gone. So with that we have completed the delete file function, drop file function, and also the handle file change function. So with that our UI part is completed. Now we have our content as well as files, and now we are going to use the content to get our content and tags, and we have our files, and using these three we are going to make our post. Now our files will be uploaded in Cloudinary, so let's set up that. Now let's make one more folder in our src. So inside our src make one more folder name actions, and inside that make a file name Cloudinary upload.ts, and here we are going to write our logic to upload our files. Now let's import access here, and then define our props that we are going to pass in this component. So props, first we are going to pass our form data, and this will be type of form data, and second will be our file type, and this will be type of string. Now let's define our function to upload our images and videos to Cloudinary. So that export const upload, and we can destructure our props here, form data and file type. We are going to get our file from form data, so form data dot get, and we can then type the name which we are sending in the form data, which is file, as file, and then in next line we are going to append upload preset of our Cloudinary in this form data. So that form data dot append upload preset, and then we can get it from process.env dot Cloudinary upload preset, and this value should be a string, so we can add our backticks and then $sign here, and this way we will get our Cloudinary upload preset from our env file, and then we are going to append in our form data. Now next we are going to check if we have file here, and if we don't have file, then we are going to throw a new error, and then inside that pass a message file not found in form data. Now since we are going to use Cloudinary API to upload our files, now let's define our Cloudinary upload URL, Cloudinary upload URL, and this will be empty string at the beginning, and then we are going to check the content type, and based on that we are going to change the Cloudinary upload URL. So if the content type is available and content type dot starts with image, then we are going to change our Cloudinary upload URL, and this will be equals to backtick then https://api.cloudinary.com and then /v1_1/ and then your cloud name. So our cloud name will be inside process.env.cloudinary cloud name, then /image, then upload. So if the content type is image, then we are going to use this API URL. Else if the content type is available and the content type dot starts with is a video, then we are going to use this different URL which will be a video. So change the image to video here, and the URL will be same as the last one. Else we are going to throw a error, new error, and inside that pass a message unsupported file type. And after this we have our Cloudinary URL. Now we are going to use the try and catch block and try to upload our file. So in the try block, let's have our response is equals to await access.post, and inside that we are going to pass our Cloudinary URL and the form data as a data. Now this should be a sync function, so we'll make this a sync function. And now we are also going to pass some headers here. So headers will be content type, and this will be multipart /form data. And after that we are going to return our response dot data dot URL, since we are going to need only the response URL. And the catch block, and we're going to console our error, so write console.error and pass a message here that error uploading to Cloudinary, and then pass our error, and also we are going to throw an error here, so throw error. And with that we have completed our upload function. Now we are going to use this to upload our file to the Cloudinary. Now let's go back to our middle then new post, and here we are going to create a function for creating a post. So write const create post. Now inside our function, let's create a new form data and store it in a variable. So that const form data is equals to new form data. And let's also create a new array, which is result array, and this will contain all the URLs from Cloudinary. So array of URLs from Cloudinary. Now we are going to loop over the files and store the files file inside our form data. Basically we are going to append it, so we are going to use for loop here and the array length will be files.length, and remove this. Now inside our for loop we are going to append our form data, so write form data dot append, and the name will be file. This should not change because Cloudinary will not be able to recognize if we change this to other name. And then we are going to pass our files and then I. Now let's also get our file type. So const file type is equals to files at the ith index and then its type. And then we are going to use our try and catch block since we are working on async function. Const result is equals to await. We are going to get our upload function from action slash Cloudinary upload, and inside that we are going to pass our form data and the file type, and this should be a async function, so we can pass async here. Now from result we are going to get a URL, so we are going to push in our result array. So push, and then it will be, now the URL will be inside our URL field, and with this we are also going to have file type, which will be file type. Next we are going to console log our result array, so result array, and if we get any error then we are going to simply console that error images. Okay, now let's save and let's add a button here. So outside this card we are going to have a button, and this will be a type, and this will have a class name my2 wfull, and on click event, and inside that we are going to pass our create post function. Now let's save and go back to our browser. Refresh the page. Let's also inspect it. So let's upload this file, this image, and let's add our submit here. So now we have submit. Let's click on this. So we are getting unauthorized. Okay, so we are getting unauthorized. So actually we were getting the error because this function was not able to read this variable. So we need to add next public as a prefix before our real variable name. So by adding next public as a prefix, the Next.js will be able to read this variable from in our client components. So add next public here, here, and here. And let's save it and go back to our browser. And let's create one more post here. So let's add this video and this is screenshot. So we have a video and an image. Now let's submit it. So you have to wait. As you can see, we are getting first object, then second object. So this is the final result array. So in this we are getting our URL and the file type. So first file type is our video slash took time, and second file type is our image. Okay, now if I copy this and open this in a new window, you can see this is our image here. So this is working. Now we have to use this result array and we will pass it to our API so that we can make a post. So let's go to our code base, and in our new post inside our create post function, below this we are going to first check if we have content or not, content, and we are also going to check if we have a result array or not. And if we don't have any of these, then we are going to return our function here, and after that we are going to use try and catch block, and inside try block we are going to get a response is equals to await access dot post, Inside that we are going to pass our API endpoint, which will be API/create post, and with that we are going to pass our data. So we are going to pass content as well as files. So this will be our result array, and then also pass type post, which will be post. Okay, so this will be a string, and after that we are going to console our response, and inside the catch we are going to console our error, console.error, and then write a message error creating post, and then pass our error. Now let's save, and now let's also get our tags here. So we can get our tags from here by writing const tags is equals to content dot match, and we are going to pass our regex here, which will be this. So these tags are the array of string of tags. So this will result in an array of string which are the tags. So we can pass it here, tags, or we can just pass it as this. Okay, now let me show you if this is correct or not. So let's go to our browser. Remove this. Let's write something, and then let's write some tag 1, tag 2, tag 3. Now I have intentionally used @ sign here, and these two are tags. So let's copy their HTML here. So this is the HTML. Let's write const HTML is equals to, this will be in string, sorry, this should be const, then this. Now we are going to have HTML dot match, and then we are going to pass our regex here. So this will be regex, then press enter, and as you can see we have two tags here, tag 1 and tag 2. So this way we are going to get our tags from our content, and then we are going to pass it to our data here. Now inside our API we are going to make one more folder named post, and this will be inside small braces, so post, and then inside make one more folder named create post, and then route.ts. Now here we are going to import our Prisma from root, then app/prismadb, and we are also going to import next response and next request. Now let's define our function here. Now let's write our function here. So export async function, and this will be a type of post, then request, and this will be a type of next request. Now first we are going to get our user here. So import get server session from next dot, and also we are going to import our options here. So import options from root/api/auth/next/options, and now from these two we are going to get our session. So we can write const session is equals to get server session, and here we are going to pass our options, and to get our session we will also have to await it. otherwise we will not be able to use our session here. Now if our session dot user dot email is not present, then we are going to return next response dot json, and we can write unauthorized authorized user. Okay, and we have, now if we have our session, then we are going to destructure our body. So we can write try and catch block, and inside that first we are going to destructure our body. So first we are going to get our body from await request dot json, and then we are going to destructure it. So const from the body we are getting these 4 values, so copy this and paste here. Now we are going to get our content here, then the files, then the post type and the tags. So let's make this in 1 line. And this will be equals to our body. Now first we are going to get our user from this email. So const user is equals to await tisma dot user dot find unique, and here we are going to pass where condition, and inside that email is equals to email. So this should be session dot user dot email, since we have already checked if the email is present or not. Now if we don't find any user, so what we are going to do, we are just going to return next response dot json, and inside that we are going to pass a message that no user was found. And now inside that we are going to use one more try and catch block. And here we are going to write const new post is equals to await prisma dot post dot create, and here we are going to pass in the data, our data. So content will be content, then we are going to have author id. So author id will be our user dot id. Now let's also add our tags here. So tags, and then we are going to add our type. So type will be type post dot, and then let's add our images or videos. So image, and inside that we are going to create many, and then pass our data, and data will be files. Now from the files we are going to filter out the images, so we can write dot filter, and inside that we are going to pass our file. So inside our file we are going to have a type, and this type is type of string, and then we are going to get the file dot type dot start with, and then if it's equals to image, then we are going to go ahead and map our filtered files. So map and file, and this time the file type is url, and this time the file will contain url which will have a string and the type, and its type is also a string. And then inside this function we are going to go and map our url of the database to the file.url. This way we will create image in our image table using our files. Similarly we can do for videos, so we can copy this, paste it here on, and make this video, and here make this image video. And lastly, we are going to return our response. So return next response dot json, and then we are going to pass new post and a message and a status code, which is status 201. Now if you find any error, then we are going to console that error, console log error, and then we are going to return next response dot error. And if we find any error here, then we are going to console that error, and we are also going to return next response dot json, and here we are going to write could not make a post, and then pass the status code of 400. Now let's save and go back to our new post and save this as well. Let's go to our browser, refresh the page, and let's write our post here. So we can write, this is my first post, and then in the second line we can write hashtag first. Okay, now let's upload some images. Let's upload this and this one. And now if I click on the submit, first the images will upload. So now we are going to get 2 response here, and now we are getting an error here that 500 internal error. So we did 2 mistakes here. First, that this should be type post, and which we are going to import it from the Prisma client. And the second mistake is that this is file type, and this as well, and this as well. And now let's save it and go back to our browser, refresh the page. Let's write a post. This is my first post. Let's add some tags. Tag first, subscribe. Okay, let's add some images here. So we can add this and this. And now let's upload this. So submit it. So as you can see, we have our data here, and the status is 201. And if I go to the data, you can see that we have our author ID, content, created at ID. We also have our tags. The type is post, updated at. And if we go to our Prisma Studio, let's refresh it. You can see that all the data here, and also we have one image and one video. So if I click on this, you can see that I have one image. Let's open this. So let's go to our image here. This is the URL. Copy this. Let's open this. Actually, let's copy this and open this. As you can see, this is the image that we uploaded just now, and this is the post ID. As you can see, we have a prefix here, post, and also we have a video here. So we have successfully added our post here, and let's add some more things here like toast and the loader here. So we can make a state here. We can write is loading, set loading is equals to use state, and this will be a type of boolean. Initial value will be false. Let's also import toast. use toast, and let's also import our router. So use router from next navigation. Let's get our toast. Toast is equals to use toast, and then let's get our router here is equals to use router. And now inside our create post function, first we are going to make set is loading. Set is loading. Let's see what I have done here. Set loading. Set is loading. So we can write set is loading to true. And lastly, we are going to make set is loading to false. And also we are going to refresh our page. So router dot refresh our page. Okay, after we successfully created our post. Let's go below here, and now here we are going to check the status of our post. So we can write is loading is true, then we are going to display a button, otherwise we are going to display this button. So we can write here, and inside here we can add this button. So, and also let's import our loader from Lucid React. So our button will be disabled and it will have loader too, and it will say please wait. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh the page, and let's also add toast here. So that toast, then that description, this is giving an error. I think this should be like this. Okay, a description, and inside that we are going to write successfully uploaded all files. Then we can copy this here and paste here. That could not upload files, post cannot be created, and we are going to use variant, and this will be destructive. Now we can copy this and paste it here, and we can remove this and that post cannot be created. Then above we are going to copy this and paste it here. Then we can write successfully created post. Now let's save and go back to our browser, refresh the page. We can write second post, and then let's add second tag. So let's upload some images here. So we can upload this, and let's upload from here. Now if I submit on, you can see that it is showing please wait, then it is showing the successfully uploaded all files, and this is some saying that successfully created your post. And if I refresh this, you can see that now we have our second post here. So with that we have completed our first kind of post, and now in the next video we are going to work on the second and third, and then also we are going to render these posts in a website.